it honestly really sucks. No matter what I do, I'm not doing enough. If I'm doing one thing, it means I'm not doing something else. And like, I'm dropping the ball over here, I'm dropping the ball over there. And the sad thing is, okay, welcome back to the channel. I am honestly really excited to be here filming this video, and I want this to feel really relaxed and really chill. And so I don't have any notes. I have no idea really what I'm about to say, but I know that I wanted to talk a little bit about staying consistent with content, with posting, but I want this to apply to any goal that you have. Also, water is dripping down my neck because I just took a shower and got ready and everything. So just roll with it. We're here, and that's the most important thing. But yeah, I have been really struggling with consistency, especially when it comes to YouTube, my podcast, but honestly, Instagram as well. I added on TikTok, which was a good move, and I'm happy that I did that. But I have been finding that it's like a lot. It's a lot on top of my clients, doing the work that I do in my life coaching business. It's a lot. I'm trying to figure out how I can also excuse the messy blankets on the daybed. I was just like, I don't want this to feel super performative or polished, and I don't feel like I need to be. I don't feel like anything needs to be perfect in order for me to just get on here and talk, because that's what I started off doing way back 5 years ago, which honestly, I did have a YouTube channel 5 years ago, but it is completely gone now. Like, I can't even get to it. I deleted the channel, and I think that was for the best, new chapter. But when I first started my business, my vision was actually to be a tarot reader and tarot YouTuber. So I would do readings for the collective on YouTube, and then I would also do personal readings for clients. That was my vision. And I don't have to go into how we have twisted and turned from there. I'm more than happy to in another video if that feels aligned at some point in the future. But for today, I just want to open up because I know that consistency is something that a lot of people struggle with. And it's something that I have had a really good rhythm with at different points in my life. But right now, it has been challenging. For all of 2024, I posted on my podcast weekly without missing a week. And that was something I was very, very proud of. And I was also very good at posting on Instagram daily and getting, more platforms involved was definitely part of what became hard about it. But then I was telling myself, okay, I can just repurpose, I can do YouTube and the podcast, and that could be one piece of content. I don't have to make it multiple pieces of content for each platform. And then I can do the same reel on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, which has been helping. But then I'm like, what do I do with carousel? It's just become I feel like there is a never ending list of things I could be doing to create content for you all. And it honestly really sucks. It feels like no matter what I do, I'm not doing enough. It feels like I am consistently just spinning my wheels, really I'm running around like a chicken without a head, just not knowing what I should be doing at any given time, feeling like if I'm doing one thing, it means I'm not doing something else, and I'm dropping the ball over here, I'm dropping the ball over there. And the sad thing is, I really want all of these platforms to thrive. It's not like I'm just throwing stuff up haphazardly. I really actually want to be putting a lot of value and quality into the world, and not so much quality in terms of cinematic production quality, but more so just help. I just want to help people. That was the whole purpose to begin with of anything that I ever started doing on the internet, was to help people. And that is definitely still the goal, but I have lost sight of that because it started to become about my own performance, and it started to feel more like a test that I was either passing or failing, or like a hoop I had to jump through, and feeling like, okay, well, if I miss a week, then I'm behind, and you know if I'm not showing up daily on the social platforms like TikTok and Instagram or whatever, then like what's even the point, because I'm ghosting people. And it just started to get so like scary in my head. Honestly, I started to be really mean to myself. All my anxiety was flaring up. All my like old patterns of perfectionism were coming back, which is crazy because I posted a video recently, like within, I would, when I say recently, I mean within the past couple of months, because I haven't been showing up here every week. But that's, I'll talk more about that later. But I posted a video about perfectionism and the things that helped me get over perfectionism. And all of that is really valid and really important. And I do think all of that's true. Like, I made a ton of progress on my perfectionism. But what tends to happen on healing journeys is that things come back around to be looked at from a different lens, or there's like a different layer of something that needs to be healed. And for whatever reason, recently, perfectionism and feeling like I'm not doing enough, or I'm not doing it right, or like there's something wrong with me, and like all of that has come back around. And in the perfectionism video, I was talking about fear of failure and like how I healed and processed my fear of failure, and how that helped a lot with my perfectionism. And that's really true. Again, like I said, like that was a big needle mover for that. But what's happening now is that I need to be okay with not meeting my own expectations. And I also need to be more reasonable with myself about what I can pull off. And one of the things that really came to light, especially like maybe 2 days ago, I was having a conversation with one of my friends because I was just freaking out and I just needed to talk to someone, and we ended up talking for like an hour and 20 minutes, and it was so important and necessary, and like I love having friends like that. But one of the things I realized was not having a team anymore has drastically changed my relationship to my business, but I wasn't acknowledging that. And so basically, for a while, I had a team. I had two people who were helping me, one person helping me with customer service, and one person helping me with content. And specifically, the content person was helping me make sure that my podcast went up every week, and that was like her number one job. And then she was also doing some interview coordinating, like if someone wanted to come on the podcast, they would write in and email me, and she was like helping with the scheduling of those interviews and whatnot. So she was like the backbone of the podcast, I would say. She was editing the episodes, she was scheduling them, like that was her thing. I was creating the content, but she was doing everything after that. And then the customer service person was making sure that my clients were getting, their Zoom links and getting their session recordings and getting like, all of the stuff that they needed in order to have a good experience in whatever program they were in with me. And having those two people freed me up a lot to focus on, of course, like coaching the clients and creating the content, because literally everything else was taken care of in my business. And because of a series of events that I don't feel like I need to go into on the internet, I ended up not having those two people anymore. And I haven't found new people, honestly, for, again, like a variety of reasons. One of them being trust, because I felt like the way that it played out, I was like, I really don't feel comfortable giving other people this much responsibility over something that means so much to me, which is something that I'm going to have to work through before I bring anyone else on to do those jobs again. Because I just felt like the people weren't stewarding it as much as I wanted them to, or like I was just like, they don't care about this as much as I do, and it shows, and that's hard because I want everything that goes out in relation to my business to be done with love, really. And I didn't feel like it was being done with love, and it was creating issues. So I now am the only person doing all the customer service, doing all the marketing, and then doing the like delivery. It is a lot. Like, it's more than I realized, and I had kind of forgotten what it feels like to do all of this myself. And the team that I had was like, I had them for a while. Like, if it wasn't those exact people, I had someone else. But I haven't done this alone in quite some time. Like, in over 2 years, I haven't done this alone. I'm doing this alone again. I have added on new platforms, and I'm just not used to having this many deadlines. It's just a lot. It's a lot of my nervous system. It makes me feel so inadequate when really it's not like I'm doing a bad job. It's just like, this is too much for one person. And that's honestly what I always tell my clients. Like, whenever I'm like articulating the value of coaching and having a life coach and like having someone who can walk you through the process of transformation, what I literally say to them is, it's too much for one person. Changing your life should not be all up to you. Changing your career should not be all up to you. Like, whatever it is, like, it's a big job, and very few people in the world single-handedly pull off anything extraordinary. Like, it always requires support. And I have support in that I do have coaches. Like, I get coached every single week for my business, and that's very important to me. But I don't have the logistical support of like people executing tasks with me. And because at this point in my journey, I don't want other people doing things, because I need to work through my relationship with trust, and like, I also just want to make sure that I'm in the position to hire really high quality people, and to just like go through a thorough hiring process, and all the things that need to happen to really build like the team that I believe my business deserves. I'm not in that position right now. So, because I'm not in that position right now, I need to figure out what it looks like to put out all this content and to serve my clients well as a team of one, as one person who is overseeing everything and also executing everything. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. And it has led me to drop several balls. And I always prioritize the clients, which is like makes logical sense because it's a business, right? So I always prioritize the people who are paying and make sure that they get what they need. And then I prioritize the things that are making me money. So, for example, I can track and see that like TikTok and Instagram are generating new demand for my business. Like, they're generating new potential clients, they're generating new clients. And that's just because of like the way that I use data in my business. I'm able to clearly see the podcast and YouTube are not increasing my income in any way. And that's okay. Like, I'm not like, these things don't matter to me because they're not making me money. That's definitely not the case. But when I'm looking at like prioritization of my business, what I prioritize is the revenue, the clients, and then I prioritize the revenue generating like channels. So like the things that are helping grow the business. And then it's like the things like YouTube and the podcast are getting whatever leftover energy I have, which is not very much at this point. um, and so I'm kind of just learning to be okay with that and to not be mad at myself about how this whole journey has gone. It is sad to me that I don't have a weekly streak on my podcast anymore, but it also is important to me that I don't force myself to do things just because I used to do them or because at a different phase in my business, I had the logistical help to be able to do them, you know? And so at this point with YouTube, it matters a lot to me that I continue to show up because I know that it helps you to watch these videos. And I also know that I don't want to put a ton of pressure on myself to force things with the YouTube channel and to force things with my podcast. So I am still going to unite both of those things. So the YouTube video and the podcast episode will always be the same piece of content for now. So I'm not creating two separate pieces of content. And I'm not holding myself to doing it every week because that hasn't even been happening anyway. And it's just like not reasonable right now to have that expectation on myself. What I am going to think about doing is, first of all, viewing this more as a hobby, because when I view it as a hobby, it goes into a different part of my brain where I'm now showing up for fun and I'm now showing up because of how much I care about it, and I'm not in any way invested in the outcome of it. Like, I'm not like telling myself it has to be good, or I'm not telling myself that a certain amount of people have to watch every episode or listen to the podcast. Like it doesn't matter to me to the extent of like I'm not trying to hit any goals, but I care about this work. I care about showing up. I care about helping you all. I care about providing free content online. And I like the way that having a podcast and having a YouTube channel allows me to go deeper into things I've been thinking about, things I've been processing, things that I know my clients are processing. And it does matter to me that I build up this library, but I'm just doing it more as a hobby now and not as something that like I'm not processing it as a part of my business. So this will not be every week. This might be twice a month, might be once a month. We'll just see how it ends up going. And it will also be a lot more relaxed in terms of the topics. So I don't see myself having like a structure of like what I want to talk about. I think there have been periods of time in my podcast specifically. I obviously haven't been doing YouTube very much, but I have over 100 podcast episodes. So with the podcast, there were times when I was being very strategic of like, I want these episodes to go out at this time because of what I'm going to be launching, or because of, you know, making sure that it aligns with my brand, or making sure that it aligns with like the different paid services that I offer so that it's helping to generate clients. And for this chapter, I'm just going to talk about whatever's on my mind and not make it so strategic. And I think that'll also help with just remembering that like my presence on here is enough. And if I'm the only person watching the videos, that's still really cool. And if I'm the only person listening to my podcast, that's still really cool, because it's kind of like I'm creating a time capsule for myself, you know? And like, to some extent, that means a lot to me anyway. Like, I used to do a lot of video journaling when I was in college, just because I was processing so much and I had a lot to like navigate when I first went to college and started to like be in therapy, and I just was having like a lot of emotion moving through me all the time, and I would just pull out my phone and speak to it for like 5 minutes and tell it what I was thinking and tell it what was going on that day or just whatever. And like I said, it was like a video journal. And I really liked that. It helped me. And when I started my spiritual business, I started inviting other people to do video journals, because I think there is just something to be said for hearing yourself and watching yourself process emotions, and it creates a lot of love and compassion for yourself. And it also allows you to look back and see, like, okay, this is what I was processing a month ago, or this is what I was working through 2 years ago, or whatever. And I think there's something to be said for that. So this is going to be more of that, but in public for people to see and for people to hopefully relate to. And I do obviously want this to be of value to whoever watches, but it's not the primary purpose of this is just going to be a lot different now. And it's a lot more of just like, this is how my mind works, this is what I'm noticing, these are some things I'm learning, kind of more just like healing journey updates, business journey updates, what's been up with me. And so if you want to keep up with me, you're more than welcome to stick around. If you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, subscribe. If you don't listen to the U 2.0 podcast, that is my podcast, and that's where you can find all of these upcoming videos in audio format, plus over 100 episodes that I have already put up there. And honestly, my goal for doing it this way is that you won't feel as alone on your journey, whether you're building a business, whether you're building a traditional career, whether you're on like a fitness journey, whatever it is that you're doing, knowing that there are other people who are building things, who are creating things, who are setting goals and working towards them and getting into roadblocks. Like, this is life. And one of the beautiful things about the internet is that it allows us to do life together in certain ways. So if you've been going through something similar, feeling like your perfectionism is coming up, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you put way too much on your plate and you just need to like scale things back, whatever it might be, I'm right there with you. Let's figure it out together. I will see you again when I see you, and until then, I hope you take really good care. Bye.